We will be given everyone introduce yourselves real quick, starting in alphabetical order. So, Advertis.
I'm first. Oh
What
my
do you
god.
wait, that's not
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
alphabetical order.
No, Atlas is first.
Okay, perfect introduction for the both of you. Garnish.
I'm really confused.
Okay, and Popcart, your introduction.
Hi, chat.
Okay, now there's no chat, but we will be having comments that we will be reading afterwards. That'll be good, in case we do an episode 2.
Fair enough. Hello, comments.
Say something for comments, so I'll comment, so we can all get everyone to comment something.
You should comment. That'd be incredible.
Like and subscribe.
No, like, we
Like,
should
subscribe.
make them comment a specific thing.
Comment that you
Comment.
subscribe.
Come on, subscribe to advertise.
Yeah, subscribe to advertise. We can all comment that. I like that idea.
Yeah, we should do that.
So the formula will be simple. We're going to ask a question or make a statement, and we'll discuss that statement or question, and then we'll get everyone to ask one question. There's a time limit of 5 minutes, but we're able to cut it off short. Beginning now. Question. What was everyone's first week on Leviticus like? What are your first impressions of the server? And what did you expect, basically?
My first week was pretty busy on Leviticus actually. Immediately, as my little YouTube video goes, I came to Leviticus in search of the poppy place all dramatically.
Well, how did you find the poppy place? Like, what did you do to find that out?
How did I find the poppy place? I think I talked to you about it. I'm pretty sure you told me about it. You told me, hey, we have this group there on this server that does like an anarchist syndicate, and I was like, you have what? And then I made it my life's mission to support that organization.
So you knew about the Rose Resistance before you even joined? Damn, okay.
I believe so, something like that, or like shortly after I joined. It was like, yeah.
My first week
it was kind of
was miles before anyone else's first week, so I just kind of played alone. In fact, I think at that time not a single soul had played for that week, and I just kind of roamed the earth doing like random shit and then like respawning.
Yeah, from what I heard, it's basically like you were playing single player by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Which ultimately is what I want for the
server as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I want people to be able to play by themselves, but also interact.
Right.
With those self-prossification, like self-pursuings. Popcart, I want to hear about your first week.
Well, in terms of like gameplay, I think I went to like I was kind of just traveling around a lot. Like I didn't want to settle down because I didn't want to like permanently sit on an island that I didn't like. I remember I went to Entropus Lair. I farmed your wheat. And yeah, I remember going to Poppy Place, and you were kind of like giving me this whole explanation. I remember all the thrones and stuff.
Oh yeah, the thrones of Fort Rick.
Yeah, and you were saying that it would be okay, well, like no matter what group I joined, and that you were something like thinking of me fondly as you're slitting my throat if I joined the, like your enemies and stuff.
Yes, I was fond of the fact that if you were my enemy, I could have someone to crush. I feel like we've only mentioned places that Advertis knows about, right?
I think so, yeah.
Rose Resistance, Poppy Place, or what Poppy Nation used to be. I guess what Poppy Nation was initially. And then,
I said Entropus Lair, too.
And Entropus Lair. Advertis knows about Entropus Lair.
Yeah, I think I was there.
You visited a few times, right? The wheat fields?
Yeah, I found it randomly, I think. It's fun, huh?
Well, I had the question, did you make your base before or after you finding out it was there?
To everyone?
No, Advertis, because Advertis's base is nearby.
Yeah, no, I just kind of played single player because it put me there, so I just played there. I didn't even know there were other people. I mean, I did know, but I wasn't like sure they existed actually because I've never seen one.
And then I turned up my render distance and I saw that your 8 was right next to my island.
Yeah, that was not very nice. So who took down my house?
Oh, I don't actually. Your stuff kind of just disappeared. I noticed like a few days ago.
Guys, I need to find the guy and destroy all his dreams. I will do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like that. Yes, Garnish.
I was gonna say I think my first week was like a week ago. It was definitely interesting. I think I started off thinking I couldn't kill chickens for some reason, and then like the first person I met about 6 hours after I joined, technically like 12 hours because I went to bed, um, was you, Miss Winters, and then you asked me to kill you, so I did, and I started farming, and then I went to Vastia and became the mayor.
That is the most badass opening ever. You kill a powerful leader of a nation, and then you fuck off
Oh.
and become a mayor.
To be fair, you did ask
That's
me to.
Aura.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I really had much of a choice to say no or anything like that.
I feel like our what's it called? All of our first impressions of me are fucking wacky.
Yeah.
Popcard has a story about me wanting to slit her throat, and then Atlas heard about me before the server. Garnish kills me, and Advertis, I guess first impression was what?
You had a cool voice on the Alex is a Moron stream.
Oh, I don't mean in real life. I mean on Leviticus.
On Leviticus, you asked me to join your team, I guess.
I asked you to join the.
Yeah, yes. So I specifically remember what you asked me was like, you asked me, you were like, oh, Cyber is making a theocracy. I need like a 3-man team to like go topple it. Or
Oh
something."
yeah, I specifically wrapped you in that concept. Yeah, that was fun. All right, well our time is limited. Anyone want to take the question now?
Well, Mortal's here.
Mortal, welcome. You missed the first question, but we're in the podcast right now. Can someone read out his messages so I can have gameplay over the footage?
He says, "Grr," angry 3 face emoji.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Inspirational.
Inspirational. Does Mortal Ruler have a question? Does anyone have a question to take up the new
He
reins?
says, "What's the question?"
So everyone gets a question or a statement, and we talk about it for up to 5 minutes. We can talk about it less if we need to.
Hmm.
And don't rush yourselves. We can cut out the dead space if there's dead space in the
Yeah.
podcast.
Okay.
You guys can't hear the screaming in my background, right?
No.
Just casual screams of the damned in the back.
Yeah.
Adds character to it.
It adds character to the podcast, exactly.
That's so real. Please try restarting my launchers. Sorry.
Mortal says he'll think of one later, I think. Question.
What about anyone have any questions at all about Leviticus? Because we do have
Okay.
Advertis here.
Wait, what happened when I was off? The important things.
All right, timer start. What happened when Advertis was gone? Important things. Shit, I'll let you guys answer this one. Advertis, when did you stop playing?
I don't know. I think when like the ban things happen.
Oh, when
Yeah.
the first ban happened.
Yeah.
When was
That's
that
I
in
remember-
context?
I don't know. I think we were. Wait. I know the mortal was killing us.
So
Maybe
Mortal was
even
still out of
before.
control. The early days of the Madman, okay. He was still drunk out of his mind, which is before Atlas, I think. Have you ever met Atlas?
I don't know, honestly. Maybe in the
I believe
meetings.
we were in the courtroom.
Oh yeah, wait. I
Oh.
was there when they prosecuted the terrorists.
Yeah. Okay, so basically Atlas can recap. Everyone can just recap their lore here from Podcart to Atlas. What is your ancient backstory, basically?
Oh, my backstory?
Yes, because that's basically what they've missed.
Okay. So, first, I joined the Rose Resistance, right? I'm like, wow, I fucking love this place. This is amazing. I want to do everything for this place. I want to live here. I want to make this place incredible. And then, like, my friend Mr. Marty Keys joins. His whole deal is like, I think anarchism is dumb, so I'm going to spend my entire time on the server, like, dedicated to destroying the Rose Resistance. Basically to prove that my ideology is stupid. And so that kind of started terror, right? And then there were like a couple of attacks, and we were going to persecute them in court over it. I remember he griefed like my house, stole my most valuable items. There were a lot of attacks on the Poppy place. Yeah, you bombed the court. And then so we tried to take him to court. His lawyers were like, doing the very lawyer thing of just buying as much time, being as litigious as possible.
You haven't
And
defined grief, and to grieve in real life means to mourn, and therefore,
therefore, in fact, actually, there's
Those are
no proper
spelled different.
definitions. Yeah, it was a bunch of garbage. Then they just blew up the court. Then Val was like, okay, well, Vixie tried to declare emergency, like dictatorial powers. So Val's like, okay, we can do a dual dictatorial powers since because I don't want Vixie to have all the power. And then she was like to me, hey, you're in charge of the Rose Resistance. You know, pass on the torch. Sorry, I'm like going through the cliff notes here. This is a lot of shit that's happened.
Advertise appreciates the swiftness of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Then Val went off to start Rosen. Basically, we created Kantar, or Jason created Kantar. It became like a province of the Rose Resistance / Rosen, kind of jointly owned sort of deal.
No, Rose Resistance
Rose-
owned it, and then it got given to Rosen, and then Rosen was like, okay, but Rose Resistance still governs here as like a deal of peace, basically. It was a way of formulating like an alliance.
Yeah. Then like Michael came to Kantar. We weren't really organized well at the time, so it was kind of like a big moral defeat there at Kantar. So that kind of led to the people of Kantar leaving and just like setting up elsewhere. So we moved Rosen over to the Snowcaps, started that. Basically, Rosen being a nation, kind of authoritarian, left-leaning a nation. And then at that point, the Rose Resistance was kind of like dead in the water for a little bit there. So I was like, okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna join Rosen because that's kind of the cards I have on the table right now. So I joined Rosen. I am still part of Rosen, working at Rosen. Rosen industrializes really fast. We build this great place. Then we have this fight with Terror called the Battle of the White Bridge, right? Terror kept getting these victories. And so I was like, Val said, okay, you'll be the acting
Commander.
military commander. Yeah, the acting commander of the defense of Rosen, right? And so we set up on the White Bridge, took defensive positions, planned it all out, put up barricades and stuff like that, geared up, and we crushed Terror. Right? After that defeat, Terror kind of... Jesus Christ, there's still more.
Finish it up.
Oh,
You're
God.
almost there. You're almost there.
Terror kind of fell off the face of the earth until Terror kind of collapsed at that point. But then the leader of Terror, Marty Keys, came back a couple days later after the Vixie used her emergency powers to start like taxing people pretty ruthlessly, and that like triggered him, and it triggered a couple other people like me in response. So Michael formed this organization called Agent Orange.
Michael is
Originally, it had the intent of actually going after both the Rosen and the Dandelions, but TF Devil refused to let him go after Rosen, so he's like, fine, we'll just make it go against the Dandelions. So then eventually he recruited me and Cart to join Agent Orange. This is more than 5 minutes, but hey, yeah.
One more thing. Literally one more thing.
Wait, one more thing. Basically, we executed Operation Strangelove, and basically kind of hit 0-0, only targeting essential infrastructure.
But what's the important part? It's the vote. You guys then voted.
Yes, we voted to revoke the emergency powers of
Vixie.
Vixie and
Me.
Val.
So then
Yes.
everyone celebrated.
And then they were like, yeah, no, we celebrated.
Okay, let's be honest though,
and then
there was
Vixie-
many consequences because of the rapid and uncooperative nature of that worship of power. So Dandelion Nation fell apart and things kind of fell out of order. Chaos era, chaos has died down. That's where we are now.
There's also some more modern things, but that's.
Oh yes,
less related.
we forgot to mention extremely important locations and people. That's just Alice's story, though. Well, okay, next question.
Right.
I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick.
Okay. Pop cart, maybe? Garnish?
I don't really have any questions, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. What about questions to Advertus? Because Advertus has lived before all of you guys have.
Yeah, I'm old.
Did
Do you feel like you're caught up?
Kinda.
I had a feeling that was the case.
We can spend another 5 minutes catching Advertus up, but like, keep in mind, all of that stuff that we just described is only our side of the server. It's only what we've experienced, the people in this call.
Right, there's not going to be the other side unless you actually ask.
No,
the
no,
other
no, no.
people.
I don't mean biased. No, no, I mean, that's the thing that happened on our part of the server, with those people of the server.
That's. I didn't say it was biased. I said you're gonna have to ask the other people who were actually there, because, like, we're the Trinity, Rosen.
Yes.
We don't know much about what's going
Did
on
we
in
even-
Capital or anything like that.
Did we even mention it?
We mentioned
I've
who?
seen some updates.
Do we mention what? Popcard?
Do we even mention the Trinity?
No, we did not mention the Trinity. It's kind of irrelevant. That was part of the Chaos Recovery era, I guess. What I mean by it's not just the people associated with us. I mean, we don't know who's out there, so we don't know what other stuff has been happening in that time frame.
That's true. We don't know if there's any other groups that have been formed or anything like that.
Or those groups have like interacted with each other off screen, basically. Our screens.
I mean, there's like the horse.
They're a good example of why we should never underestimate who's out there, basically.
Oh yeah, who is that? Because I've heard that they might be suspects of my
Yeah.
problem.
I feel like
recently.
we just fucked up by mentioning them.
How do we know that they're not one of us?
We don't.
Okay, so.
And that's why everyone accused like Vixie, me,
Next question.
So, Leviticus, am I right?
Leviticus, am I right? Maybe ask questions about the update, maybe ask about different groups that have existed, maybe ask about like big philosophical questions like what is the most important moment, or who's the most powerful person, what is the most... Yeah?
Okay, let's talk. I want to talk about Capital, the new Capital, right? In the era of Cypher being their leader. I
Mhm.
want to talk about this thing about Capital Industries. It really seems to be that extension of the Dandelion legacy. I still think it's pretty Dandelion, right?
Well, they have dandelion skins, and they put dandelions all over their base, and they destroy poppies, and they have in their iron farm lava next to their chest says 4 poppies here.
Oh. Mortal, you'd probably get along with those guys pretty well.
Well, no,
I-
Mortal hates them, right?
Well, I know, but it's like,
Advertise for context, Mortal Ruler literally has invented slurs for people of the poppy variety.
hey
That's
man,
funny.
better a pop than a dandy, okay?
Atlas, we don't want to stoop to their level, come on.
What the hell? Okay.
I am actually curious. Mortal, do you prefer dandies? Not dandies. Do you prefer poppies or Capital? Because you really hate poppies.
I thought he said that Capital is the only group he hates more than the Province.
Banger.
Fair enough.
Alright, well, let's...
Wait. Oh, okay.
You go first?
Sorry. Stupid question. Just a quick question. This doesn't count as a real one. Who's your favorite pop on this server?
Okay, that's. Hmm.
For context, Mortal Ruler is typing in chat.
He says
he's
who are
asking-
harder pops.
Yeah.
I'm a pop. Val's a pop. Cart's a pop. Pop cart.
Basically, anyone who is a part of the Rhodes Resistance.
I think
or Rosen.
Lily and I are also pops, if I'm not mistaken. Or poppies.
Basha is pretty poppy adjacent, is it not?
To my knowledge, it is, yes.
I Minecraft on launch.
I had that issue a couple days ago.
Well, one thing we need to mention is that this capital industry stuff that we're talking about, Advertis, I feel like this is just giving Advertis context, the podcast, is that it's actually comprising a very important location, kind of nation. It's like a trade center called Phoenix. Phoenix has allied itself with capital. And
They were doing a huge trade thing from what I could hear.
yes, and they're trading something from the new update. And they're trading stuff from the new update. And it seems as if they are now allied because they both are kind of like the last Dandelion bastions after the Dandelion Nation has collapsed.
Which is really funny because Michael claims to really hate dandies. He's like, "Fuck the dandies." Sorry, I shouldn't be using slurs on our podcast. I'm racist. I can't help it.
That's okay.
Alright.
Advertis, what flower do you prefer? No judgment here. We're all pops, so we're all for equality.
I don't know. Both have their upsides and downsides, I guess. Like, I
Well-
like the puppies more. I always like them more.
That's awesome.
But to be fair, they should be roses again.
Yeah, they should be.
I was gonna say, I actually like dandelions for their texture, like the old texture for them.
I love the old texture too.
Yeah.
What about favorite Minecraft flower, like in general?
Poppy. Rose.
Still the rose. It always was. It has been. I knew Advertis knows this for a fact.
Yeah.
You're asking about single block flowers, right? Not actually.
Yeah.
We talk. Okay. And you're not talking about the ones that are like pink petals or
Yeah.
anything that's like okay. You're also talking about bone meal bowl not found by Snipper.
No, just flowers. Just flowers.
Flowers.
It's a flower. Yeah.
just pick whichever.
You're talking about flowers, not like grass or bushes.
Garnish!
Flowers.
Do saplings count?
No!
No flowers.
Oh no, the cherry blossom looks a little bit like a flower.
It's not a
Garnish is
flower.
having a hard time.
That's a tree.
The tree. Did you know? Advertis does know this group called the Trees. Actually, he was around for that.
Does the cactus flower count?
All right, our time is up. Next question, Popcart or Garnish or Mortal.
Alright, I gotta be honest, it's probably the blue one that's found in swamps. I forget the name.
Orchid?
Azure Blue A, I think it is. No, that's the other one. Is it?
For me, it's the allium.
Mmm.
I like the lily of the valley.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Mortal, do you have a favorite flower? Oh wait, he has a question too.
What's your question, Mortal?
He
Should
says, should
elytra be
elytra be added? 3-phase.
Should what?
Elytra be
Elytra.
Elytra be added? That's actually a really good question. Should
No.
Elytra be added?
no.
No.
I am kind of split on
Right.
that because at the moment you can bridge, and that's kind of like there's always a risk there, which is what people kind of point out. But at the same time, having Elytra would remove that risk, and you wouldn't have to worry about bridging as much.
I personally, yeah, go on.
With the lack of mending books, Elytra are finite because you can't use phantom membranes to repair them.
Exactly why I was going to mention. I don't mind them too much because they kind of become something that you only use to save yourself from the void. But I would never add them personally. I think.
Wait, there's no magic
Right.
anymore?
I'd be okay with them if you had ender chests.
Is no one going to answer? Is no one going to answer Advertis's question? There's a good answer to this question.
What was the
What was this
question?
They
question?
exist, but you can't.
Oh.
Right, you can't get them anymore.
Wait, that's a answer, right? But there's another answer to the question: why is mending removed?
Oh, I think it was too broken.
Oh, not why, but like, This I can say it if no one gets it.
Creative philosophy behind why it was removed. I mean, the idea of Leviticus is to challenge people and bring up further, kind of catalyze their creativity by imposing challenges on them, and that allows, for
Different
instance,
situations.
the fact that you can't, there are no sheep on Leviticus, right? So when you first log in, you have to kill a bunch of spiders, in order to get enough string to put together to make 3 blocks of wool, in order to make a bed, for instance, right? Or like you have to get really creative with hiding things because there's a lack of ender chests, and chest ESPs are so rampant. Stuff like that.
And also, let's not forget the fact that that rewards creativity and combat, so it rewards more skills. The reason why mending has been removed is this is like the my reason, right? Everyone is correct here. It's because we've removed the anvil cap. So anvils no longer scale.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, anvils no longer scale based on how much you've used an item on them.
Right.
So
So
does anyone
Yeah.
yes,
have a changelog for the update?
not even Vixie does. But keep in mind,
Okay.
there's been more than one update. Oh, okay. So shall we move on to the next question? Because I think we answered the Elytra thing.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, Garnish,
I-
Popguard.
I-
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I feel like Electric can be added like maybe the last few months of the server's existence, just so we can like fly around, have fun. like,
True.
everything.
I'll see you all when I'm 29.
Oh god.
2029?
29?
Yes, I'll be 29 when the server hopefully is closing.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought you meant like
Oh.
I thought you meant the like 2029. I was like, oh, that's like half the server's lifespan.
For context, those the server is supposed to run for 10 years, and optimally, like if worst case comes to worst case, 3 years.
Alright, so we have time.
We have plenty of time. You missed. You basically just blinked, Advertist. That's what I hate about servers. The whole like, oh, I need to play when people are active. Oh, it's dead now. I hate that shit. It's so fucking lame. Especially for a server at this scale. Like, you mentioned the world border being bigger, but I'm pretty sure by the time Atlas had joined, the world border had already changed from what you knew it. Just to show the scale of time.
I feel like the server having actual active community, like an active person who writes updates and people who actually play on it consistently, even if there is no update, is what probably keeps the server actually alive.
It's what keep our section of the server alive, correct? But some people play by themselves, if they play at different groups, or they play with their friend. It's like that. Sometimes I invite people, and they're like, "Can I invite my friend a week later?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can." And then they probably meet up. I don't know what they are doing. And Garnish or Popcard, do you have a question?
I forgot it.
No.
Okay.
I can ask another question.
If someone gives you their question to ask, I guess.
I mean,
Atlas, what's your question?
well, I still haven't thought of it yet.
Oh, what? So what did you offer?
Yeah, well, I just
I can give you $100. I mean, I don't have $100, but I mean,
I have a question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Is someone willing to give up their question for me?
yeah, you can have my question.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep the timer on, so we only have like 2 minutes 40 to answer this question. But I want to talk people now. Who is the most influential person in our side of the community?
Can we talk about this last podcast?
We did. I want to see how it changed.
I wasn't there for the last podcast, so I feel like my opinion would probably be new.
I mean, when it comes to like your own side of the community, and just being like, if you're part of a nation, then who's your leader and stuff.
Well then,
Yeah.
let's all have individual answers then. Let's not find a consensus. For me, the most influential person is Vixie.
Well, according to you, you're the leader of Rosen, if I'm not mistaken.
I've never been more certain about something in my life.
Right. So, well, technically, yeah, I guess, because Vixie writes the code and all that.
No. It's because Vixie declared emergency powers, and she almost got the vote for it, so I had to create Rosen. And also, because Vixie is the one that had the system in place that was, which allowed the diversion for Poppy Place to be attacked and also failed to protect Poppy Place. So I took matters into my own hands, aka I made my most impactful mark on the server because of Vixie's actions. And I only started interacting with people and having an impact on them. So personal glory and stuff has only existed because I overheard Vixie mentioning her power grab ideas, and I could not let that stand. So Vixie's words and direct actions have led to everything I've done, basically. I've been a reactive shadow to her.
I feel like comparing people to one another and saying this one's more powerful than another one isn't really justified because everyone's done quite a bit in their own regard.
I agree, but I'm saying influential. The most influential person in my story has been Vixie.
If Mortal holds a sword to you, or literally anybody, I'm pretty sure he's going to be the most influential.
That's right, and Vixie held a very big, powerful sword called International Law in the Dandelion Nation.
Right, so I'd say for that branch, that would probably be Vixie, but for combat, that would be Mortal. For diplomacy, that might be me, but I think you would probably take that, Miss Winters. I'm not sure about really much else, to be honest. Because there's a lot of different branches, and you're asking who's the best in all of them, but...
I'm not asking who's the best, I'm asking who's the most influential.
Right.
Who has already created influence, and has already shown that they can do that.
Fair enough.
And it's not a bad thing that there's like a bunch of different branches. It's just like it's interesting to talk about each of them.
Right. I feel like you guys are comparing entire people rather than branch to branch.
That's fair.
Mortal,
Would you
Mortal
like?
says,
Yeah.
Mortal says Lily currently. She's such a quirky dictator. I'm just a silly little guy at heart.
Perfect. That's a great answer. Do you want to ask like a question, Garnish, about those branches, maybe?
No, can I abstain my question, like remove it?
Yeah, you can.
Alright, I'll do that then.
All right. Any closing notes? We've gotten every question done.
Now I'm very excited to see where things are going. I personally have big plans coming up. I'm sure a lot of people have plans for something or other, so I'm very excited to see.
I want to find a trial chamber.
Dad, what you're saying, I think Leviticus's story in our context has had like 2 acts, and we're actually entering the 3rd act now. The first act was basically Vixie joining the Poppy Nation and becoming the queen and being like, okay, we have to protect international law from being corrupt. And then that ended when Cheeto bombed the courthouse. And then the Rosen Battle, Capitol, Phoenix, Itville, the Hork, etc. That stuff is like act number 2, and now I think we're actually about to enter act number 3 in like a week.
Yay!
I think right now is probably the most exciting Leviticus has ever been.
Hopefully,
I mean, I feel like right now is the downtime for what's about to.
I think the downtime just happened.
I don't, cause that the whole situation with Capital that kind of transpired wasn't that in the past. Like it's still pretty recent.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you said, from what I understood when I joined, there was like a war that immediately just happened that I missed.
Yes, the Terra Rosen War.
The gap between those two is not what I would consider downtime.
Fair.
I would consider a longer break, like a month, maybe at most.
Okay, that's fair. For me, the capital stuff kind of felt very insignificant and like a pester because we dealt with it very efficiently. We were able to overcome it. It was just a nuisance, to be honest, to me.
Right.
It was nothing like the Terror War, for example, because the Terror War was glorious.
No, it definitely wasn't a war, but the other things that have happened with Capital recently, with the cat and whatnot, was not.
Yeah, I feel like that's all set up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mortal says, "I hate capital." Grr.
Wonderful. Is that our closing message?
Yeah, we hit Capital.
Shouldn't our closing message be subscribe to advertise?
Subscribe to
Yeah.
advertise.
Yeah, subscribe to advertise.